Welcome to the Tuesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday morning. Howdy. How's it going, Dacapolion? How's it going, Astro? Today we got quite a few things to go through, and today is an extended version, or possibly extended version of the stream, as I have the day off today, so we're gonna be just chilling today. Hold on, folks. My, kitty cat. Oh boy. Biden has executive orders, send it on Twitter. Alia with the 10 biddies, how's it going? Morning. Oh no, kitty, get out of there. Come on, Vaquita, come here. No, stop it, hey. Hold on, folks. Come on, kitty, come on. Here, Vaquita. Come here, Vaquita. Come here. Sorry about that, folks. curious cat. Hey, how's it going, Skiddeer? Alright, let's see what we got here, Alio. Just give me one moment. Alright. The cats do be curious, yes. She was getting up on here and going around. But she started pawing at some of the wires here, so I was like, oh no. Oh no, no, no. Alright folks, so first and foremost, a couple of announcements. Don't forget folks, on tomorrow the 15th, there's going to be a special double feature of the stream. And we're gonna have the usual morning session with the news. And then in the evening, we're gonna have Bela join us for a good conversation regarding climate change. Yeah, Kitty wanted to disconnect the stream. Yeah. So make sure you join us 10 p.m. Eastern times. I believe that's 7 p.m. Pacific time, tomorrow the 15th. Don't forget, folks, I will also make an announcement again on the Discord. So make sure you join that to keep up with any updates on the channel. Today we're gonna keep it nice and chill. Got my day off. We might play some video games later. Let's see how much we get through. Alright folks, let's get through some of these headlines. We go back to our good friend, President Joe Manchin. President Joe Manchin signaled on Monday, I guess. What a weird wording. That he's still not ready to back his party's $2 trillion social and environment legislation. Then talked to President Joe Biden as party leaders scrambled for a pathway to advance the long-stalled package, preferably by Christmas. So, I mean, like, if you just don't want to pass this thing, why not say it? Like, I don't understand what the point is of being of just keeping up BS excuses, right? Like, what exactly is the point? If you don't want to do anything, just say that. I don't understand what the point of you continuously to offer roadblocks and excuses after excuses. Just say that you don't want to do this. And then we'll figure out another way. Instead of wasting everybody's time. Have you sent a message to the Beckosphere? That's a good point, Thendara. No, I have not, but I should. I should. How do I even get in contact with this person? Okay. About. Okay. I found her Twitter and email, so let's see. Let's see what comes out of that. Off topic, but only one House Republican voted to pass Protecting Our Democracy Act. I find that alarming. Yikes. Hey, agnostic sister, how's it going? Wait, what was the, Protecting Our Democracy Act? Howdy, howdy. Send it to me via whispers, misinformation. Wait, I think I got it. This bill addresses issues involving abuse of presidential power, checks and balances, accountability and transparency, foreign interference in elections. Specifically regarding abuse of presidential power, the bill requires... Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, folks. Oh, no, it is... What? It is zoomed in. Alright, that's a little bit better. Specifically regarding abuses of presidential powers, the bill requires the DOJ and the president to submit to Congress specified material relating to certain pardons, prohibit self-pardons by the president. Well, I mean, that's kind of already there, though, right? You can't just, like, pardon yourself. Right? I've never seen that. Oh, but now it's explicit. Oh, okay, I see. There was always a debate. Interesting. Why? That's so weird. Like, I mean, you would think that that's obviously not, like, okay. I mean, what's the whole point of having checks and balances if you can just say, I'll pardon myself, it's all good. I see, we have to spell it out now because of Trump. Okay. Suspends the statute of limitations for federal offenses committed by a sitting president or vice president. In other words, yeah, nothing's gonna save you here. Prohibits the acceptance of foreign or domestic emoluments. Again, I thought that's why we had a constitution, but, you know. And sets forth provisions regarding the Office of Government Ethics and Office of Special Counsel Jurisdiction and Enforcement Authority. To address checks and balances, accountability, and transparency, the bill authorizes specified actions to enforce congressional subpoenas, imposes a limit on presidential declarations of emergencies. Now that I like that one. I like that one. So there are limits to a president's emergency powers, and puts guardrails on that. So yeah, I'm in favor of that. Could I ask for the link? For the link of this? Oh, this is just on the Congress website. Here, let me post that in chat. Norms are no longer normal, right? Yeah, they just kind of decided that. You know, they're just gonna yeet norms out the window. The only reason Republicans voted against it was because it would scare Trump from running again. Why? Why would it scare Trump from running again? I thought he had a very perfect phone call. Very, very good president. Because then he would have to release his tax returns. Oh, okay. Again, what's the problem? He's got very perfect taxes. He's got The best, impeccable taxes. How about limiting the amount of non-war wars we're able to perpetuate? True. If the House votes yes on the Mark Meadows stuff, will he be arrested? I think they already did, didn't they? Didn't they vote for recommendation to the DOJ, in which case the DOJ will then have the option of indicting him or going forward with that, right? Is that it? The best taxes anyone has ever seen, people are saying. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. I got it wrong. I apologize then. There are the House votes later today. Gotcha. Okay, thank you. The House vote, then referral to DOJ where it's up to Carlin. Thank you. Okay, cool. Oh, okay. The committee voted on it and now the House is. Gotcha. Incredible if people still think his taxes will do anything. Yeah, like the only thing that I suspect, which is probably the simplest explanation of everything, is just that they're gonna find out a couple of things. One of a few scenarios. One, maybe he's just not that rich as he claims to be. Two, they may find evidence of further cons. I mean, who would be surprised, right? Who would be surprised if he was involved in other questionable financial dealings, right? Merrick Garland hasn't really done anything. Didn't he, wait, didn't he indict Steve Bannon? Or was it, yeah, isn't Steve Bannon going to suffer some consequences here? News is getting out about tax on January 6th. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into that one, Alio. Don't worry. I told you folks, the more time goes on, the more stuff we're gonna find out. These next couple of months or weeks, I guess, depending, is going to be very, very eye-opening. Garland hasn't really done anything this whole time he's there, is what I meant. Oh, okay, gotcha. I can't believe it's almost been a year. Yep. If Trump gets arrested too quickly, don't want a martyr? Well, I don't know. Like, to be quite honest, Alio, I just don't see a scenario where Donald Trump sees any consequences, to be quite frank. Despite all his shady financial dealings, despite all of the obvious questionable financial stuff that he's done, one could argue that there's also questions about the handling or actions he's taken as president. I mean, like, there's just so many things. There's allegations previously. He never suffered any consequences or investigations, to my knowledge. It's been a year and Trump is still pitching his damn lie and complaining about massive dumps. It's sad and embarrassing. True. It is true. It's just a sad person who got in and over his head. A narcissist who is incredibly, I would argue, incredibly dangerous because of his volatile nature, and somehow managed to win the presidency for 4 years. Jesus. When you eat a lot of Big Macs, you complain about massive dumps. Exactly, Kyle. Exactly. he's incredibly dangerous and not very many people recognize that fact. Yeah, like the thing is, like, you know, when I used to hear about 2015, I guess, right before, like during the start of the campaign, people didn't think that he would be dangerous in any way, shape, or form. But I repeatedly said, and I repeatedly stressed the point that, like, this guy is different, okay? This guy is different. We need to pay attention, and we got some red flags. And unfortunately, people thought of him as more of a clown than anything. I mean, granted, he is, absolutely. But with that, came danger. This is why, that's why this bill is so great. All right, we'll keep reading. We're in no rush today, chat. All right, we're in no rush. We're in no rush today. All right, we're just hanging out. We're just chilling. I'm not working today, so I can take my time. What happens when we get another Trump? But he's actually smart. Yeah, like I think that the most dangerous person who could win a presidency would be someone like Josh Hawley, right? I think is probably the more dangerous one because I think he's very good. I think he's very good at hiding his power level. And has a very he has an ability to channel some level of populist rhetoric, and yeah, that makes him dangerous. Far more dangerous. The war on Christmas is a slow-moving aircraft carrier on the sea of communism. Let's go. Do you think DeSantis would run? It depends. If Trump runs, I don't think he will. If Trump runs, I think DeSantis will be trying to be his running mate, if anything. It would make a lot of sense. I wouldn't discount Donald Trump, Mike Pence, or DeSantis as the potentials there. But it seems to me like the party would just open up pave the doorway wide open. Sorry, I messed that one up, but whatever. You get the point. They would pave the way for Donald Trump should he decide to run. I think that they'll just coalesce behind him regardless. And the scary part about all that is that should he decide to run, I think he might actually win. So, how's that? How's that for a future outlook? To address checks and balances and accountability and transparency, the bill authorizes specified actions to enforce congressional subpoenas. Okay. Imposes limits on presidential declaration of emergencies. Good. Requires DOJ to maintain a log of specified communications between it and the White House. Okay. But is that going to be like accessible to the public? Requires cause for removal of inspector generals. That's good. Increased whistleblower protections. That's good. I wonder how that's going to work out, considering the fact that, like, it seems to me like the Biden administration is not quite poised to be kind or favorable to Julian Assange. I I don't know how we're going to square that circle, but I do agree with the principle of increasing whistleblower protections, and I think that transparency is at its utmost importance, in my opinion. Requires a candidate for president or vice president to submit to the Federal Election Commission a copy of the individual's income tax returns for almost 10 recent taxable years, and establishes penalties for political appointees who engage in prohibited political activities. Well, okay, now, ever since 2000, Republicans worship Trump. Well, you mean 2016, yeah? But the last year reduced percentage to 60% really, but the GOP party wants 95% for Trump. He does have a overwhelming influence over the party. I mean, it's basically his party, right? Makes no sense. Makes no sense that the vote split. The bill is quite bipartisan in essence. I mean, define bipartisan in here. Like, I know it's kind of a, a thing that we've fought over procedurally, and it's usually kind of set in norms. Can somebody refresh my memory and explain to me what the purpose of submitting the tax returns are? I know there's a reason for it, but I can't quite put my finger on it. In whose interest is it to get anything passed while the Democrats are in power? In whose interest? Nobody's. It's nobody's interest, because the Republicans want to make sure that nothing gets passed, and the Democrats seem, again, I understand that this is not like all of the Democratic Party, but it seems like, and I know this may or may not be wrong, maybe this is too reductive, but it seems like, it feels like, it gives the perception, which is all that is necessary, I guess, for this argument, that whenever the Democratic Party is in power, they're incredibly underwhelming, right? They're incredibly underwhelming, and then their tactic, seemingly, again, the perception that people have, their tactic then seems to be, well, we're not the Republican Party. At least we're not the Republican Party. Which, granted, fair, but that ain't good enough anymore. But that ain't it, alright? That ain't good enough anymore. 2020 was the last year that argument worked. Okay? 2020 was the last year that argument worked. The Republicans don't want to give Dems any other wins whatsoever, and the Dems don't want to win, so it's great. Yeah, so that's kind of the feeling or the perception of the Democratic Party, regardless. And I know it's a little bit more complex and things like that, but if that's what people are perceiving, then you need to change that. You need to reach out to people and say, look, we're doing X, Y, and Z, and we're going to push as hard as we can to accomplish X, Y, or Z, right? Because people voted for the Democratic Party with the idea that there would be some type of, reforms, right? There'd be some type of reforms. One example would be attempting to eliminate student debt, for example, right? I mean, have we seen a very aggressive push to attempt to accomplish that? I mean, there was like some attempt at the beginning, but that seems to have been dropped. When it comes to expanding the social safety nets, the biggest hurdle that we're having right now is the Democratic Party. And again, I know it's more complicated than that. There are 50 Republicans, okay? They share blame too. Let's not forget. They share blame too. There's 50 of them there. Any one or two can negate the mansion and cinema aspect, right? However, knowing that, what is the point of you being in the Democratic Party and what is the point of doing a massive movement, huge turnout in 2020 for this? What was exactly, like, how are you supposed to go to voters and ask them for their vote again, right? Does that make sense? I see. Releasing tax returns can uncover ulterior motives for passing and blocking tax reform. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, Silver Knight Dragon. Recent events shown that there's no partisanship at all. There's only one party now. The corporate party just has two wings. The wings that outwardly suppose corporations and the wing that inwardly supports corporations. Yeah, I mean, like, there seems to be some truth to that. I'm seeing the Zooms from DNC and Moms Demand Action. Dems know people are disappointed and trying to innovate and counter the GOP moves. Yeah, but granted, that is 100% true. And again, don't forget that there are 50 Republicans who are refusing to do any type of action whatsoever. In fact, they're very staunchly opposed to any of these things. We need to wipe out student debt. That's such a scam on young people. I agree. I agree, Agnostic Sister. And there's certain actions that could have been taken, but the results have been underwhelming, to say the least. And unfortunately, coming into the midterms, that's not okay. That's not an excuse. That's not, like, I don't think that you're going to be able to energize your base or to get people out to vote for you if you don't give them something to vote for. You need to deliver. I don't know what else to say. You need to deliver. You need to deliver if you want to win elections. You need to be very strong. You need to run strongly on policy. And you need to deliver. I mean, like, that's why they won, right? They won because they wanted to expand the social safety net. They wanted to increase taxes on the wealthy. They wanted to attempt to take action on the climate crisis. Like, all of these things were part of the platform. That's why people got out there in the first place, right? That's why people got out there and delivered the Senate for the Democratic Party, albeit by the most thinnest of thinnest margins. But what happened in Georgia was very indicative that people were willing to give them another shot. People are willing to give them another shot. I mean, this is it. This is your Hail Mary. That's not going to work next time. That's not going to work next time. That's right. That's right, Alio. Important phone numbers to the White House switchboard and Capitol switchboard. Call your representatives. Annoy them. Make your voices heard. After all, they're supposed to be your representatives. To protect against foreign interference in elections, the bill requires federal campaign reporting of foreign contacts. I thought we already had this. Like, wasn't that the whole reason why some of the Trump folks got in trouble? I mean, there's people that were hit with felonies for this. Requires federal campaigns to establish a foreign contact compliance policy and specifies that foreign donations to political campaigns and candidates of non-public information relating to a candidate are prohibited. I mean, like, you think that this is like kind of common sense, right? I mean, I thought this was already a big no-no. Not paid for? Yeah, the other option is to continue to attempt to get as many progressive representatives as possible. That's the only other solution. This is not a bad idea. This is not a bad idea in my opinion. Alright, back to Mauldin. The West Virginia lawmaker declined to describe the telephone conversation, saying that he and Biden are talking about different iterations and saying anything is possible. Like, okay, dude, you need to take a stand, and you need to, just make a decision already. I mean, like, if you don't want to do this, then just be that guy, okay? Enough with the excuses and playing coy. White House spokesperson Andrew Bates said the two men had a good constructive phone call and would talk again soon. In earlier comments, the reporter's mansion did not specifically threaten to vote against any against the legislation, or says he opposed the goal of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to approve a compromise by Christmas. I mean, like, that the whole thing, the whole frustrating thing about this is this was already compromised. Like, what do you want to do? What is it that you want to do here? You already gutted a massive part of this bill. Democrats must have his backing because the Senate is evenly divided and Republicans oppose the legislation unanimously. Right? Like, do not forget that Republicans are opposing this unanimously. Like, they could do the right thing, too. Like, let's not forget that. One of his party final holdouts, Manchin has been pushing for months for Democrats to curb the bill's size and drop some initiatives, including one requiring paid family leave and medical leave. Yep, President Joe Manchin attempting to reduce or cut paid family leave and medical leave. Unbelievable. I would say, instead of rubber stamping a increase to the tune of tens of billions of dollars to the military budget, why not redirect that to this? It's always funny to me, like, when it comes to the military budget, the National Defense Authorization Act or something like that, NDAA, right? When it comes to that, there's never any question. There's never any holdouts. There's never any, like, wait a minute, do we need to pay for all of this? How much is that going to cost? Can we gut this? What about this? Like, there's never a debate whatsoever about this. Save for maybe 2 senators, there's never a debate when it comes to rubber stamping, increasing the military budget. There just seems to be never a problem with that. To my knowledge, the only people who voted against it, the NDAA, was Bernie Sanders and, funny enough, Rand Paul. There was other senators who had concerns, but at the end of the day, it cleared with zero problems. Didn't they get an 80 billion increase? Didn't they get an 80 billion increase? No questions asked. What Bernie said about agreeing with Rand Paul was funny. True. Hey, says Cadden, there was no debate when Obama included indefinite military detention of American citizens overseas for the first time in the NDA. Not either. True. True. I hate Manchin with the intensity of 1 million suns. Just 1 million? What Bernie said, yes, that's true. Rand Paul votes against pretty much all spending though, regardless. That's true. Your disappointment should be directed at the people who voted him into office. That's right, Silver Knight Dragon, good point. I've said it before, born with cerebral palsy and disabled, I know that many authority figures abuse their power and methods. Please don't give up. Persistent determination in life is important. That is true. That is true. That is not to say that, it's all useless and hopeless. Because that's only seeding the ground. In other words, being disengaged is only beneficial, right? Being disengaged is only beneficial for the perpetuation of the system. The more disengaged you are, the more apathetic you are, the better. The better. Was there anyone less conservative running for Manchin's seat, and should we have a Republican in there instead? No. But now Rand Paul wants disaster assistance spending for his state. Yeah, I know. Libertarians. Hey, Go Past Tech, how's it going? So, if we multiply about 80 billion by 9 years... Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. It would be 800 billion extra in the 10 years. 800 billion just in the increase of the military budget, right? I mean, 800 billion certainly could be better placed into expanding social safety nets for paid family leave, medical leave, and the other stuff that they wanted to pay for. I'm doing okay-ish. Well, we're all hanging in here. I agree with you, voters are responsible. I've mentioned it's a horrible, horrible person, a little snake in the grass. Kroger just ended paid leave for unvaccinated people with COVID with a monthly surcharge to their health plan. What? I see. Kroger just ended paid leave for unvaccinated people with COVID with a monthly surcharge on their health plan. Yeah, I heard that there was one airline company that was doing that too. Can Kroger do that? Probably. Earlier Monday, Manchin told reporters that he wants leaders to choose their highest priorities in the package and make them all last for a full 10 years instead of just several, and squeeze all that into a measure costing Less than 2 trillion? The legislation limits many of Democrats' priorities and to just a few years to limited measures 10-year price tag. With the current bill emerging from more than 7 months and of often bitter negotiations among Democrats, reconfiguring it that dramatically seems all but impossible at this point. In his first public comment since a pair of government reports were issued last week, Manchin said that one showing inflation would rise at an annual rate of 6.8%, the most in 4 decades, was alarming. Wait, didn't we already go over this? Wasn't that, like, debunked? Wasn't that already debunked? Wasn't there like a report saying that actually the inflation concerns didn't really end up holding any water? Kroger has enough lawyers to make sure they can. Yeah, like worker protections and labor laws in this country are abysmal. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. He also expressed dismay at a Republican-requested analysis that said the legislation would add an additional $3 trillion to federal deficit if all its programs were made permanent. What? You know what's a permanent, add additional, what's permanently adding to the federal deficit, which seems to me like a political football and a constant conservative trope? The military budget. The military budget. That seems to be like something that would add trillions of dollars to the federal deficit. Anyways, Democrats have derided that report by the nonpartisan CBO as ridiculous since they said they would find ways to pay for any extension of the bill's programs. Yeah, like one step at a time. Put these programs into place. See what happens. See how popular they are, and then continue adding and adjusting as we go. Quite often when something is read, I feel like I'm missing common knowledge to have a full grasp of it. Before speaking to Manchin, Biden told reporters at the White House that when he talks to lawmakers, he tries to convince them of what I'm proposing makes sense and is not inconsistent with what they believe. Other unresolved issues about the bill include whether the chamber's parliamentarian will rule that several provisions, including one helping migrants stay in the U.S., should be removed because they violate Senate rules. The House approved its version of the legislation last month. One reason for Democrats' urgency is that unless the measure is approved by December 28th, the IRS won't have time to prepare checks due January 15th to millions of families that received a child tax credit, the Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden has said. I mean, this is on you, folks. This is on you. The ball is in your court, right? The ball is in your court. At this point, any failure to provide or to continue to provide this help to millions of families will be on them. Who is taking paper checks for the child tax credit? I don't know. Folks who don't have access to anything else, I assume. People without broadband internet? Could it almost argue not millions? Maybe. I don't know. Interesting. This is why it's so important to be so engaged with what your representatives are doing and why, because all of this stuff matters. Why I voted no on the Protecting Our Democracy Act. This bill is nothing more than political grandstanding by Congressman Adam Schiff and congressional Democrats who wrote this wide-ranging legislation without any bipartisan input. After 4 years of Congressman Adam Schiff using his privileged position as the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee to mislead American people, lied that he had seen confidential material that proved Trump was colluding with Russia, he is now trying to pass this legislation to cover up his own ethical behavior. Well, I mean, to be fair, like, I'm not like a big Adam Schiff stan, but wouldn't this Protecting Our Democracy Act also involve him if he does anything he's not supposed to be doing? I mean, I'm sure there are some, but I don't think it's on a scale where, well, without completing that behavior should be easily fulfillable compared to what COVID checks and letters. Yeah. Maybe sometime we should just have who the fuck is that guy section. True. That is a good point. Just to make sure, right? Adam, true. While I do support protecting the powers of Congress and reinforcing our checks and balances, this bill is nothing more than a shameless target of former President Trump and cannot be mistaken as a serious attempt to legislate. This bill passed the House by a vote of 220 to 208. I wonder what's happening on the, I wonder how this is going to go on the Senate. It's probably just going to die in the Senate, right? I don't see anybody, I don't see anybody supporting this in a manner that would jump the filibuster, right? I mean, they're not interested, like the Republican Party isn't interested in any type of guardrails that would hold them accountable. But yeah. I love that she admits it targets Trump. Right, but like, it... why would it target Trump if he, did nothing wrong? Or maybe we can acknowledge that he has absolutely been doing unethical behavior. Perhaps because Trump did all of that. Yeah, they know. They know, Silver Knight Dragon. They know. Because, like, why else would it be a problem? Right? If you didn't do this, shouldn't you be in favor of it? Wasn't there, like, a whole big brouhaha about, like, integrity and procedure and all of this? And I remember a specific call. Law and order. I remember that. Huh. What all that? What happened to all that? I wonder what happened to all that. Seems kind of a trend, right? The real raging clue. Howdy. An inconvenient narrative? Yeah. I mean, seems to be like a trend, right? They tend to care about, or they claim to care about, small government, but they end up always trying to get into people's business. They claim to be about personal responsibility, but they throw that out the window once the chips are down and they're the ones that have to take responsibility for actions. That goes right out the window. They claim to care about law and order, but when it comes down to it and when they're the ones who are in the hot seat, they blame everybody else, anybody else, anything else. Excuses. They seem to not really care about any of that. Really. Is this a left-wing stream? Well, it is a stream. It is a stream. It is definitely a stream. right? Then they cry freedom. But what they really mean by that is freedom. Freedom for the things that I like. Freedom for the things that I like. I was asking because most political streamers on Twitch are left-wing. That is actually true. Generally speaking, like, just as a generalized statement, most people on Twitch claim to be or are left. Leaning, left-friendly, left-adjacent, straight-up lefties. This is a Q stream. We talk about Q drops and what our new orders are. Shh. You're giving it all away, Kal-El. You're giving it all away. When you are poor and you start talking about politics, it becomes harder and harder to be right-wing. Yeah, well... I don't know. I don't know about that. I see the exact opposite, unfortunately, go past deck. Miss Nixa, how's it going? A lot claim to be left or socialist, doesn't mean they are in the way they portray. Yeah, like, that's why I said they claim to be, or they act in, or they are. I don't know, I can't tell you. Most political streamers on Twitch state they are left-wing, but some, they all seem to have their own interpretation. That's right, that's why, like, I just claim to be, I just claim to be a political person who is interested in very direct prescriptions, right? To the problems that I see. My spiel is, and this is obvious if you stay here long enough, but my spiel, or my biases, are undeniably left. I always put questions in people's heads. I always point to the problems with the current system that we live in, and I stress for 4 important things: food, housing, education, and healthcare. Those are the core 4 pillars that I have to build upon of what I believe in. Everybody should have these 4 things because we're human beings. Food, housing, education, healthcare. These things should just be. These things should just be. I also advocate for a lot of climate action, climate information. I do a lot of environmental reporting, or bring awareness to the climate crisis. That's a big thing that I do here. So yeah. You ain't fooling anyone, you're a lefty? Yep, that is true. That is true. I am a lefty. I am a lefty. I don't have a specific, like umbrella. I just advocate for these policies, and this is what I like. Also, it just makes sense. Like, just from whatever perspective you want to go at it from. Like, from a moral perspective, you want people to have food, housing, education, and healthcare. From an economic perspective, you want people to have food, housing, education, and healthcare. I don't know, like, what... The raven will make its way home, the lighthouse will shine upon... Oh no. We've got the latest Q job. 2 weeks signed. The fire won't engulf the beast. That unironically sounds like a Q job. As a pagan, I lean towards socialist or leftism. My healing practice is something I offer to all, not some, and never force a payment. Right, because, like, again, the idea of medical stuff, medical debt, all of that makes no sense. I also advocate for the more democratic systems in place. For example, I am a supporter of worker co-ops. I'm also a supporter of unionization, so my approach is twofold. I like to see incentivization for worker co-ops. And the large firms that are already here, unionize them. Unionize them. All of that can be done right here, right now. Should we choose? Food, housing, healthcare, education, transportation, clothing, and internet access. Kensai777, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, like, broadband internet access would kind of be par for the course, right? You need that in... That comes under part of housing, yeah? You know, it comes without saying, like, if you have a house, then you obviously need electricity, water, and access to information. That goes without saying. The state-owned internet providers feel sketchy. Well, I mean, yeah. Maybe. But the fact that there's only 2 companies that I can choose, and both companies suck, and both can charge whatever they want because they basically have a duopoly, and instead of the government being the one that's going to throttle the flow of information, then it'll be in the hands of private companies. So I don't know. For my priorities, I would like sustainable food, water, practical housing, low or no upfront costs for healthcare, renewable energy, and education to support everything previously mentioned. I'm not opposed to any of that. Sometimes you have a politician doing one good thing for all the wrong reasons, so sometimes it is hard to sort left and right, good and bad, and yeah, that's why, like, I never really answer that question, like, up front. Like, I'm not absolutist in any way, shape, or form, but it's very obvious where my biases lie, if that makes sense. The real raging clue. It's very obvious where my biases lie. I did the political test that was 116 questions. It actually worked out. It actually worked right. I'm stuck in between revolution and reform because those questions were hard. Yeah. The thing is, like, when it comes to revolution, like the more revolutionary folks, like, I'm just concerned about what the outcomes would be, and would you guarantee the things that you had? Would you guarantee that the outcomes that you claim are going to actually happen? Free broadband, but we ain't appointed trusted VPN providers to run the servers. Like Pierre de Coubertin creating the Olympics good, but the reason he did it, what he believes in, are plenty. Yikes. Huh. Oh, we got a couple of redemptions here. We've got a cute animal video and a dab, so we'll start with that, right? Anyways, stay here long enough, you'll find out. I'm obviously biased. Obviously. My worldview is coming from the perspective of a more progressive, left-leaning, all of that. Same from Roosevelt and national parks. Plenty of yikes. True. Yeah, there's a, please say dab like he means like weed. No, I do not have a dabbing rig anyways, but no, I mean like dab. There we go. And we got a cute animal redemption. We'll just knock these one out. The dab has been cringe for years now? Nah, the dab is fine. There's nothing cringe about the dab. Needs a majority to follow revolution to happen. It's a mass democratic movement. It doesn't happen without the majority. It's not an indirect democracy, but a direct democracy. Cringe overlord. Nah. You He was saying that he had to protect Yellowstone from the native people. Oh, no. No. It's like, you do have to preserve Yellowstone. It's a national park, but, like, not for those reasons. We need worker-owned infrastructure to ensure centralized powers are limited in their abilities to corrupt. That is true. I've never, disagreed with that. I think that, having a system where there's more worker co-ops is probably good. And those that are already here should be, unionized. Easy. I'm not a Zoomer. Don't levy that accusation at me. I'm not a Zoomer. Sorry, don't levy that label at me. I am definitely not a Zoomer. Co-ops should be subsidized. True. True. You should incentivize co-ops. You should incentivize co-ops so that they have a chance. Do you prefer to be called a Zoomer, a Boomer, or Homer? I don't know. I'm kind of a Boomer. I'm like in between. I'm in between, okay? I think state-owned industries have pros and cons, and privately owned industries have pros and... By that, like, logic, I mean, doesn't everything? The whole point of asking these type of questions is to see which one has more pros than cons. Everything has a pro and con to it. The question is, will something have more pros than cons?
Onto the sidewalk. None of the parents could be found within the area. One of our local...
Wrong, those are two different things. Non-profit means non-profit, worker-owned means worker-owned. I don't get it. Like, if you have a worker-owned co-op, it means that the facility, the company, the corporation is owned collectively by the workers. A non-profit is a different type of company that has their own kind of like system that's separate, and they run differently. Private owned industry is funny because that's extremely socialist and dictatorship. They're new here, let's help. Yeah, I'm trying to answer these questions. The Bipartisan Infrastructure Act originally had to be compliant with the Davis-Bacon Act, but it was cut to appease Republicans. Seems to be a lot of par for the course, right? The profits are shared among the workers for a worker-owned company. Yep. Yeah, those two words are different things. Correct. How is the percentages split? Well, you vote on how that works. That's kind of the point, right? When you own a worker co-op, you and the workers kind of decide what exactly happens, right? And it's put to a vote. Right, workplace democracy. That's probably the simplest. Wait, the real raging clue. Do you believe in capitalism? Do you believe in capitalism? $50-50. Okay. You somewhat believe in capitalism. Okay. Do you believe in democracy? There you go. That's it. It's a democratic system where the folks who are in the facility vote to what happens. That's it. That's it. It is a firm that has democracy. It is a private firm that has democracy. And by private, meaning the workers collectively own it. That's it. It is a system where the workers choose and have a say in what happens. That's it. It's not more complicated than that. Do you believe that workers should have a voice in their workplace? Yes or no? If you say yes, then that's it. Then you're on track. Then you're on track. If you believe that workers should have a say in their place, in their workplace, then you're on track. It's as simple as that. I understand that, but from descriptions I've heard what prevents the usually lower paid workers from voting to earn more than the usually high paid workers. Well, that depends. The firm would obviously have to be structured, and people would vote and designate where all those plans lie, right? That's it. Profits are made up an idea. It's usually an unnatural, imbalanced idea that you can get more out of something that you put into it. It goes against the law of nature and physics. Interesting. Yeah, you essentially make something out of nothing, is what you're telling me. Since most companies have lots of lower paid workers and fewer high paid workers. Yeah, but these are traditional firms, right? You're talking about traditional firms where there's like a sort of hierarchy. What if it just went like this? You know, like in a traditional firm, you have like the hierarchy is set up like this, right? It's like very, very narrow, thin, like this. What if we just spread it out? What if we just smoosh that hierarchy a little bit? Huh? Managers don't have to be on top. They could be elected. Yeah, and their portions can be designated and elected. All of that is something that a worker-owned firm collectively decides, right? That's the only difference, right? Instead of a tiny hierarchy like this, it kind of lowers it, kind of smooshes it down like that, which is really a more preferable democratic system, right? That's literally it. That's literally it. And I would argue, if you incentivize things and subsidize these worker co-ops to make them viable, just like they subsidize a traditional form, I would argue it'd be a great step forward. Howdy, howdy. It is certainly a factor in the climate crisis. Yes, you're correct to spread it forward. It is a factor in the climate crisis that we have to contend with, and we have to face. And we have to face. I mean, you keep asking these random questions that I've just kind of been like ignoring. So I don't know what the point is here. And the fact that you were banned from Hildebeest is, oof, I don't know. How would we promote companies being ran as co-ops? Well, you would give the same subsidies and startup capital No, the real Raging Clue. I'm engaging with you because you seem to be here interested in some of these answers, so I'm answering them. I think that you are asking questions that you seem to be interested in hearing the answers, so I'm answering them. How would you promote companies being ran as co-ops? Well, you give the folks who want to start co-ops incentives, just like they do with the traditional firms. They have no problems giving out loans and giving out massive goodies for traditional firms. What if we start pilot programs? What if we start pilot programs to incentivize and give those goodies to worker co-ops? Where I live, there's a very popular grocery co-op. They have 3 stores in the county and promote many local businesses. Nice! I love them. It's a little bit more expensive than Safeway, but way better. Nice! I got banned from Gran Sereno, so I thought I was being called out. No. No. I'm just answering your questions because I'm on the presumption that you want to hear the answer. I was referencing the other chatter who just keeps asking random questions. What is capitalism? What is communism? What is democracy? Just random questions. I was banned by Hassan. Nice. I hope I'm not banned. Let's go, Brandon. F. Biden. Alright. That's it. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. In the UK, we have a chain of supermarkets called the Co-op, but they are a corporative ran company, I believe. Oh yeah, I mean, the name doesn't say anything, are they? Are they collectively owned by the workers? Then no, they're not a co-op. How do people even see what people say in Hassan's chat to ban them? Well, when you have so many, like, flying messages, I assume that some get flagged. And also, like, the moderators, like, for example, I can see and I can scroll back and I can slow and stop the automatic scroll so I can, like, check and see what's going on in chat. So usually I will like pause the auto scroll from chat, go back up, and look at any messages or somebody in chat. If somebody in chat points something out like, hey, look at this, I will go and look at it because as the mods, we got like special tools behind the scenes. He would always read my shit out loud. What? Streamers banned for all sorts of reasons. Just don't be a jerk. That's a great life a great life tip, right? That should be like the default for everybody. Just don't be a jerk. You'll be good. I used to get Mike from BA to read my chat out loud. I got banned because someone asked me what country I'm from, and I said the People's Republic of... Oh, well, I mean... I could see that. I think you memed way too close to the sun on that one. I think you memed way too close. Also, like... It's very simple. I don't get why people get upset when they get banned. Well, yeah, because when you say things like that, those have specific connotations in history. So yeah, I could see that. But anyways, I don't think that like people should be upset when they get because they get banned or timed out in other chats. Dude, if I wanted to, and if I wanted to run my stream how I wanted to, if I see your name in blue, then I'll just ban you because I see a blue name in chat. Like, I don't want blue names in my chat. Like, that's my prerogative. If I see you say the word, I don't know, blue. I actually love blue. So it's kind of just like, stuck in my head. But yeah, if I see the word red, I could ban it from my chat if I want. If I see the word, you know what? We're not talking about, turtles today. If I say that there will be no turtle discourse in this channel, then I will ban you for talking about turtles. Like, I don't get it why people get so upset. Why people get upset when they get banned or timed out. He literally provides no training for mods. Hey, whoa. Excuse me. Hey, Memo, for the record, how's it going? Fine, I won't talk about McConnell. True. What are you? An amphibian? True. Twitch forces you to moderate as... Ah! It's flying. Facts. Twitch forces you to moderate through coercion, so you're allowed to moderate to your liking as long as you don't allow content blocking is fine. True. I got banned in a channel that I've been a part of for a few months, all because I misspoke. It happens. I mean, like, sometimes you get friendly fire, sometimes, a streamer may be in the wrong mood. Sometimes a streamer may be in a bad mood. I don't know. I got timed out in a... my first timeout, by the way, ever on this platform. My first timeout ever on this platform was in a right-leaning channel, in a right-wing channel. Because I challenged a obviously bad take from somebody. Like, so they were reacting, because I'm not going to start anything here, so I'm not going to say any names or anything like that. They were reacting to a video, right? They were reacting to somebody's video, and that somebody was also in chat, right? So when he was playing the video, I was like, huh, well, this is just objectively bad. This is not based in data. This is not true. This is just not true. So I said, well, I think the person in the video is not understanding X, Y, and Z. Or I think I said to the similar concept. I said, this person is not taking into into consideration X, Y, and Z, right? And the person who the video was being reacted to was also in chat, as I mentioned, and they responded to me by saying, hey, I'm the person in the video. And I was like, yikes. Literally, that's all I said. I said, yikes. Because, like, what? I'm just gonna say, oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm gonna say, like, dude, that's just not true. Like, what you just posted, what you're reacting to, is nonsense, right? And well, in my first message, I explained to them, hey, I don't think that they're considering or taking into consideration, or I don't think they understand the concept of X, Y, and Z, right? That's what I said. So in other words, I think you're right, you're wrong. I think you're wrong because of X, Y, and Z. And when the person responded saying, hey, I'm the person in the video, I was like, yikes. ADT has been timed out for 600 seconds. I don't think I've been banned or kicked before, but I got chewed out by a streamer for being too enthusiastic and active in his chat. What? Oh, anyways, hey folks, there are some, thank you for the follow, by the way. There are some, diamonds in chat, which you should be following. I am so rude. Here we go. I am incredibly rude. There are some diamonds in chat, who you should all be following, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Skidadeer also streams. I believe I was lurking in Ben's chat, and there is mention of that, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I heard that you streamed. Either I saw a message in chat, or I think Ben, I think she made a mention of it. Not quite sure. Not quite sure. This is true, I stay up late and I talk about things. There we go. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, and you do have a diamond. Okay. Sorry, I have like a separate, I have a separate chat here that doesn't show me who has a diamond or even who has the little mod sword. But I just moved on to the other side here. How many bits it will cost? 100,000 million biddies, and then you too can have a diamond. It's about buying. It's like buying a real one, right? That's how all these diamonds got their diamonds. They each provided 100,000,587 trillion biddies. All of them here that you see a diamond on, they all paid me that much. Ah, Miss Nixa. Thank you. Just make sure I don't forget. Yeah, your diamond is gone, but you have a sword. You like, for some reason, it doesn't let you have both. Yeah, I got paid using Soros royalties. Alright. We gotta watch this cute video, okay? Cute animal video.
Rescues step in and try to save someone, give them a forever home. Which is kind of what we've done with our little flock here.
When we got Seamus, seeing him grow up, it was really cool.
Seamus is just no fear. He gets into everything. Oh, somebody's here right now. Come, say hi.
Resto Dragon, how's it going?
First thing in the morning, I get my coffee, I sit down, and he kept trying to go into the cup. The progression started with a napkin, and then he'd throw that off. And then it went to a paper plate, and then he'd throw that off.
Yeah, you can say that we took your diamond and we forged a sword out of it. There we go. There we go.
Then I actually found the cup with the cover on top. Like, perfect. But he tries really hard, and some days he almost gets his head like right in there. He'll open his beak like he's going, ah, coffee. And it's a coffee on the cup. He's like, how do I open this? We actually started raising butterflies together. For some reason, he just wants to get close to the butterflies and engage in that way, which is so cute.
It's Iris's one.
And he's so brave until they flap their wings.
Oh, you get scared.
Christopher always takes them out and feeds them, and then as soon as
Cute
Seamus
bird,
sees
but that
he's right there.
cup is so
You gotta
adorable.
steal the sugar water.
Like, I'm trying to do the butterfly Seamus.
And he loves taking a bath. He'll get really soaked. The
They raise
splash zone
butterflies?
is
I don't
at
know.
least 3 feet in circumference. You have a cup of ice, he's there. I'm eating cereal, he's in there. We have almond milk now. It's not bad for him. He's so silly.
It's kind of nice to see them progress.
We take in birds that are not releasable. The ones that need the forever home.
We got Matcha and Latte.
Keely and Coco. It's like we're becoming this little ecosystem here in
Aww.
our house.
Seeing where they are today as opposed to when we first started out with it. been a really great
Yeah, the dodo
growing
always
experience, not just the bird.
puts videos of like rescued animals and things like that. Very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. This family is adorable. True.
But about ourselves too. They teach us a lot. To take things one step at a time. To kind of just help them along when they're ready. It's kind of nice to see where they are
Aww.
and how happy they are.
I mean, it's awesome that I get to spend so much time with my son and my daughter. It's like the best part of our day, just being with them.
Like, comment, and
You know, the guys that say cooperatives benefit the workers, other streamers say the same thing about communism. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of overlap. That doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of overlap. I mean, like, there's like a lot of different sects and factions, and even under the umbrella, or even under the term communism, yeah, there's absolutely a huge interlap. They do interlap. I'm starting to make a list of politicians I don't know about either, to give it to Santa or make me a what the yeah, exactly. That sounds like a great idea, Go Past Tech. Communism is like kind of like a big cooperative. Something, well, yeah. Well, it's a bit more than that. But I guess if you want to put it in 5 words, 6 words. No, I think it's a bit more complex than that. Marjorie Taylor Greene will definitely receive coal, true. Or be, voted out of office, that would be nice. Put that one on the wish list. Have we reached anything better than a fascist corporate aristocracy? We're not quite. I mean, the question to that answer is undeniably yes. But we should probably strive for the best that we can. How's it going, Dustin? The answer to that question is always yes, but we should strive to have as much of a democratic system as possible. Did you vote? Yes. I'm not going to cede that opportunity. I always vote. Santa's a weird one. He saved tiny beans to give gifts out across the globe. True. A lot of coal to Joan of Arc. Wait, no. Boo. I'm sensing you voted for Trump. Twice. Twice. No, I would never vote for Donald Trump. That's just not, no. The whole point was to exactly avoid anything's better. Yeah, that election was literally just that. Anything better than a fascist or corporate aristocracy, authoritarian kind of deer, kind of second there. Free the deer. Yeah, exactly. No more forcing deer to fly. True. Like, they don't even have like wings. How do they do that? So you voted for Biden? Yep. Yeah, I did. Alright, folks. Moving on. Well, not moving on. Continuing. Other unresolved issues about the bill include whether the chair... Oh yeah, wait. We did go over this. TLDR. If President Joe Manchin decides on anything, he should just do it. Like, if you don't want to pass this, why continue to string this along? This is so frustrating. This is so frustrating. Yeah, ADT was a Tulsi Gabbard fan all the way. True. It's a shame people have to tactical vote. 99% of the time, it's always going to be a tactical vote. Until you can move in a direction where you have more options and a more democratic system, which is always what you should be pushing for. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Got time for a Yuki session? I redeemed it. All right. We've got plenty of time. There's no rush today. There's no rush today. We're just chilling. 5 minutes ago. I apologize. Using a different voting system helps prevent tactical voting. No, it spreads it out and gives more democratic options. There's more choices, right? One such thing that can be done right away would be ranked choice voting. Yeah. Hey, James Napper. I see that finally we got I got around to reaching out to Bela, and I'm super excited to do a collaboration tomorrow evening. So make sure, folks. James Napper just reminded me, folks. A couple of things. A similar note, I had a little email back and forth with Larry Bartels, who wrote the Democracy for Realists. It just shows you that they do email back if you reach out. Huh. Man, that would be awesome to have some of these folks. I am excited to announce that, again, if you guys weren't here for yesterday, I will do this announcement here, and I will do this announcement towards the end of stream. Folks, tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, I think, is what I have. We will have Bela come on and have a chat with us on the climate crisis. As always, I do try to make that a central theme of this channel. So absolutely super excited to have this collaboration, and super thankful for her time to take time to come on our show. One could say it is even poggers. Alright, folks, quick break. TLDR Mansion just continues to push excuses for absolutely no real reason, right? Like, if you're gonna support it, then you're gonna support it. If not, stop dragging things along. We're on a time crunch. If you don't want to help, then for all intents and purposes, go F yourself, Joe Manchin. In preparation to the time, if you got time, there's a little video you might want to watch, might be having in the background. Send it to me. Here in Whispers, we might have time. I'm in no rush today, James Snapper. I got the day off today and tomorrow, so there's no rush. We might have enough time to go through all of this content. I'm super excited, folks. Give me one moment, quick break, and before I do so, quick second to show for myself. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to follow. You get 5 free emotes along with Bakita the cat as an emote, so you wanna follow that. And join us on the Discord. Join us on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure you just take a second, just really quickly. Takes 5 seconds. Go in there, hit that subscribe button, and do the likes, the comments, and the subscribes on the YouTubes. It does really help us out. It pushes pushes us up a little bit. We're trying to get as many eyeballs as possible. So, and my final request, folks, this is a personal request. Please spread the word far and wide that this is the chill space to be. We are here Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays for Saturday Catterday. And this Saturday, however, we're on vacation. We'll see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday what things are. I think I have enough for 2 days of planned streams or reruns. We've got 2 reruns possibly. So at least Monday and Tuesday is covered. We'll see about Wednesday. Best thing you can do to keep in touch is joining the Discord. I will be right back. True. Yeah, the chair stream is the best kind of stream. In fact, every time you see the chair take over, you can guarantee that it is going to be content the chair knows. That's where all my information flows, comes from the chair. Alright folks, thank you so much. Sorry about that. Let's continue on through the gauntlet. Oh yeah, James Napper. This sounds like a video I need to watch. Absolutely. It is growing, folks. That is true. Join the Discord. There's plenty of folks there. I get my news from the chair. Yeah. Did you hear all the people that worked at the candle factory in Kentucky said managers wanted to place? They would be fired if they left their shifts early. Yeah, we got that one on cue. Eco Resto Dragon. We got that one on cue. Absolutely horrifying. President Joe Biden signed an executive order on Monday, yesterday, that seeks to reduce bureaucratic hurdles for Americans seeking government benefits such as Social Security, student loan relief, and disaster aid. The order, targeting 36 federal services across multiple agencies and departments, also calls for passport renewals to be digitized. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought that was like already par for the course, but apparently not. And for the IRS to call back taxpayers instead of keeping them on hold. Probably a good idea. Because, you know, nothing says, nothing is more comforting than being on hold for an untold amount of time. The IRS calling people back. The measures will ensure that the federal government puts you, the American people, at the front of the line and are first in anything we do. Some of the biggest impacts by executive order will be seen by Americans over 65, in addition to a new online tool designed to make claiming Social Security benefits easier. The government will also develop a portal for Medicare recipients to identify ways to save money on drugs and healthcare. Cool. This is the IRS. You owe us money. Please send us some gift cards. Yeah, that is already happening, though. Like, that is already happening. The IRS never calls unless it's a call back, right? There's a difference between reaching you out in a cold call and reaching back as a callback. They respond mainly by mail. That is true. Yeah, that is true. That's not a good argument. The real raging clue, as they already do that. Like, there's already massive scams. Like, I have voicemail, like 20 plus voicemails, and like half of them are we're reaching out to a federal investigation of Carlos, and you need to press 1 to reach a federal agent regarding your Social Security scam. Like, okay, dude. That is, very true. Very true. Yeah, if you're expecting a call, yeah. Under the order, the administration plans to allow former service members to access a suite of benefits with a single logon. Victims of natural disaster will be able to use the centralized online forms and submit damage photos through smartphones, while those receiving food benefits and other programs to assist the poor should have an easier time certifying their income and eligibility. True. Oftentimes there's a time tax. It takes a long time to fill out a form or go through a line or access a benefit, and our focus is really ensuring that we're minimizing those frictions. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Undeniably. Other administration efforts under the executive order are expected to make occasional interactions with the government less burdensome. The White House says it will cut down security lines at airports through new screening technologies with advanced features. Don't know what that means. And the Small Business Administration Department of Agriculture examining ways to improve customer service and cut down trips to submit paperwork. We will see. In a more frustrating climate change news article, Russia vetoes the UN resolution linking climate change and security. The reality is these two are very interlinked. Russia on Monday vetoed a first-of-a-kind UN Security Council resolution casting climate change as a threat to international peace and security. True. Unfortunately, Russia is not interested in participating in this. Oregon switched their food stamp and medical sign up online only, which is itself would be a great idea if everyone had access to the internet, right? Which is so important to expand broadband access. Spearheaded by Ireland and Niger, the proposal called for incorporating information. A vote that sank a years-long effort to make global warming a central consideration of the UN's most powerful body. Spearheaded by Ireland and Niger, the proposal called for incorporating information on the security implications of climate change into the Council's strategy for managing conflict and into peacekeeping operations and political missions, at least sometimes. The measure also asked the UN Secretary General to make climate-related security risks a central component of conflict prevention efforts and to report on how to address those risks in specific hotspots. It's long overdue the UN's foremost security-related body to take up the issue, Irish Ambassador Geraldine Byrne-Nason said. The Council has occasionally discussed the security implications of climate change since 2007, and the wider General Assembly pronounced itself deeply concerned about the issue in 2009. Secretary General Antonio Guterres has also sounded the alarm, telling the Security Council last week that the effects of climate change compound conflicts and exacerbate fragility. True. The Council has passed resolutions that mention destabilizing effects of warming in specific places such as various African countries and Iraq. That is true. But Monday's resolution would have been the first devoted to climate-related security danger as an issue of its own. Stronger storms, rising seas, more frequent floods, and droughts and other effects of warming could inflame social tensions and conflict, potentially posing a key risk to global peace, security, and stability. The proposed resolution said some 113 of UN's 193 member countries supported it, including 12 of the Council's 15 members, but India and veto-wielding Russia voted no, while China abstained. In other words, the reason why Russia is pointed out is because they have the veto power. It's because they have veto power. That's why they're getting the flack here. China and India are by far the biggest offenders of climate change. I think that in raw numbers, I think China has it. But historically speaking, the US has its own burden to bear. Not to mention, I think Spread It Forward just mentioned the American military combined has a carbon footprint bigger than, I believe, 48 countries. Yeah. The people refused to sign the climate goals because they felt coal reduction targets were too tough. Yeah, I mean, the alternative is nobody wins. I mean, coal is the biggest issue at the G20 summit. One of the things with places like Russia is that politically it becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. They elected a strongman leader in Putin because of concerns for national stability, and then they continue to emit and make climate change worse, which in turn makes the nation more potentially unstable, which results in further bolstering of Putin's electoral and autocratic powers. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. I don't dispute. Russia and USA are fighting to be the largest climate contributing assholes in the world. We need to use less energy and waste less. True. Their envoys said the issue should remain with broader UN groups such as Framework Convention on Climate Change. Adding climate change to the Security Council's purview would only deepen global divisions that were pointed up by last month's climate talks in Glasgow, Scotland. The talks ended in a deal that recommitted to a key target for limiting warming and broke some new ground but fell short of UN's 3 big goals for the conference. I mean, like, again, what is the whole point of having an entire PR stunt, an entire cope fest, if at the end of the day, when you have something so crucial like the UN Security Council, which is arguably one of the more involved bodies of the UN, I mean, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. Climate change is undeniably a security issue. It is absolutely a security issue when it comes to limiting the potential for international conflicts. As we know, resources like food, like water, will start becoming very scarce. People would be forced to move. All of this we went over in the previous New York Times and ProPublica journal. And it is certainly a concern. It is certainly an aspect of stability and security. Climate change at present doesn't directly cause conflicts, but it tends to worsen tensions enough to tip them over into actual conflicts when they would have otherwise remained disputes. Yeah, and all of that is going to get, in my opinion, worse as more and more resources become scarce and people are forced to leave in bigger and bigger droves, and stressing the resources all around. Which is just a which will pave the path to conflict, social unrest, instability. Mass contain carcinogenic and lead-based products. You need to provide a source on that one. You've got about 10 seconds. Do you have a source on that? Come on. Show me the source of pointing this wild claim of yours. Come on. Come on, show me the source. Show me the source. Chat, do you think they'll have it? Bah. Come back when you have a source. It will definitely get worse. It will absolutely impact our politics of shape too. Been reading a book about just how electoral authoritarian regimes are propped up by public support rather than the rule of iron fist. Yeah, that's, I mean, kind of how it starts, right? It all comes down when the chips are down, people get desperate. Yeah. I agree. Anyways, if you don't have evidence for a statement such as that, then just don't make it. It's okay if you don't know. Quite often I take L's live on stream. And I have to retract stuff. So if you don't know something, that's okay. But stop making these wild claims without any type of evidence behind it. Russian Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia complained that Monday's proposed resolution would turn a scientific and economic issue into a politicized question. Bro, a politicized question. It is. It is. It's undeniably a political question. By definition. We've had entire international bodies meet. An example would be the COP26. To see what legislation can be passed or what actions can world governments take to curb climate change. Yeah, it is a political question. It already is, by definition, politicized in the sense that, well, you need political will to address this issue. It's not, you can't escape from it in this situation. Into a politicized question, divert the council's attention from what he called a genuine source of conflict in various places and give the council a pretext to intervene in virtually any country on the planet. This approach would be a ticking time bomb. I don't understand, like, genuine source, like, the obvious effects of climate change are genuine, and will become more and more, apparent, but I guess either they have their heads in the sand or are purposely doing this. The longer you're here, you'll see the conservatives and libertarians literally make shit up or recite fake news all the time. True. Technically talk about salsa, not sauce. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Are we entering some dangerous discourse here? This is a hill I would die on. It is salsa. Alright, well, you guys can fight about that. I personally think it's undercurrent and of the anti-democratic sentiment that is everywhere. Yes, I don't know if it was you who gave me that article, but we certainly have seen the decline of trust in democracy, or, you know, people are becoming less and less trustworthy or, I guess, supportive of democracy, which is incredibly disturbing. What happens when it can't go away? Yep. Yes, democratic backsliding. Thank you. Okay, great. That's what usually is referred to. Yep. Aren't we just going to have these same issues with the Paris Agreement? Didn't most of the targets agreed at COP26 have no repercussions for not meeting them? Yeah, that's a massive problem. Aren't we just going to have that same issue with the Paris Agreement? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yeah. There's no other way around it, but yes, you are correct. What is the literal translation of salsa? Okay. We're gonna have to do some research over here. This is an important tangent. The literal meaning seems to be, Rooted in the Latin salsa, salty food, or condiment, means sauce in both Spanish and Italian. Spanish to English translation, a sauce. It seems to me like, yeah. I don't know. That's the common knowledge from what I keep seeing. But I could be wrong. He made people think that the agreement was mandatory or something. I wish, but no, there is no real way of holding anybody, not just the US, but anybody, to whatever BS promises they made in the Paris Agreement, or this one, to be quite frank. There's no real enforcement method or method of having people be accountable. Salsa equals salty pizza? True. Kansai, how's it going? Thank you for the follow-up. I appreciate it. By the way. Alright, folks. Anyways, excellent discourse coming in chat. This is the type of discourse I can have all day, right? Today was an opportunity for the Council to recognize for the first time the reality of the world that we are living in and that climate change is increasing insecurity and instability. Instead, we have missed the opportunity for action and we look away from the realities of the world we are living in. That's the TLDR, to be quite honest. That's the reality. The reality is our failure to address this, our failure to have any meaningful action is, well, going to lead to instability, insecurity, conflict. The more and more it is, the more and more it progresses, I should say. Fox News stars privately blamed Trump for prolonging the Capitol riot, then took a totally different position on their shows. It's almost like it's one giant grift, isn't it? Especially the opinion side of Fox, right? Text messages released by the January 6th committee on Monday showed that Fox News hosts were among those urging the former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to get Trump what? Who wrote this? Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to get Trump to call off his... That's such a weird statement, a weird sentence. Is this like a grammatically correct sentence? Isn't biased news no longer news? Okay, so when you have editorialized news or editorials or opinion pieces on like Fox News or whatever, CNN, you have to kind of extrapolate what they're trying to say and understand that there is a bias. That there is a bias and a narrative being sold to you. That's what you have to remember and keep in mind when you read articles, period, right? You have to understand that what you're reading does have a bias, and you gotta kind of extrapolate what you're reading. The only people who'd be surprised by this are Fox viewers, but they probably already have a conspiracy ready to attach this and call it fake. True. Daily reminder that Rupert Murdoch's propaganda agency doesn't produce news, but rather opinions, as argued in court, that no reasonable person would take them seriously. True. Yeah, among those urging former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to get Trump on to... What? Yeah, I think this was a typo. think this was a typo. Luckily, I get all my news from The Onion. I mean, parody is now becoming reality, so for all intents and purposes, just add an extra who needs a human editor when you have AI spell checking? You're right, Dustin. I wonder if they didn't, like, proofread this with a human. Who knows? I mean, it's also possible that you get, like, some not autocorrect, but, like, sometimes when you're texting, your phone will predict your next word and automatically put that. I don't know how any of these disloyal class traders say they get their news from anywhere but ADT. That's right. That's right. I see you. I see you. I see all of you. I think Fox would just ignore this. Yeah, it's probably PR-wise, that's probably what they're gonna do. BuzzFeed News is worse than Fox News. Changed my mind. I guess. Depends. I don't know. I personally stay away from, like, heavily biased sources. Like, I try to get, like, I know this is kind of, like, ironic and a meme, but I try to get, like, MSM news articles, right? I try to get MSM news articles, and then I'm the one giving my take on it, my perspective on it, my opinions on it. That's the difference. You're a union guy? What? Do you mean, like, do I support unions? Yes. Their efforts are then in stark contrast with the message they gave to their viewers on... Oh yeah, here we are. We're among those urging the former White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, to get Trump to call off his supporters as they swarmed the Capitol. If he wasn't the one, like, inciting this, and he had absolutely nothing, nothing to do with this. No, this is all just separate actions. Then why were these Fox News hosts, or Fox News people, calling Mark Meadows or texting Mark Meadows to get Trump to call off his supporters, if he had nothing to do with anything? Huh. Scotland is not part of Britain. They are part of the United Kingdom, the UK, right? I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. I avoid MSNBC, Fox, and all that as much as possible, especially on things about war bills. Well, the thing is, like, you have to, like, see it from, depending on what you're reading. Depending on what you're reading. If you're just reading a news report, it is different than listening to, like, the talking heads of these folks, right? Does that make sense, Dendera? It's different than listening or trying to get the interpretation from the talking heads. Those are different, right? Those are separate. Why is Fox News DMing Meadows anyways? That's a good. That's another question. That's very very good question, Agnostic Sister. Their efforts then are in stark contrast to the message they gave their viewers on the day of the riot. Sean Hannity, a longtime friend and confidant to Trump, texted Meadows in a bid to get Trump to call off his supporters. Quote, can he make a statement, ask people to leave the Capitol? Right, like, these people are firmly in the camp, or had the idea that if Trump would just make a statement, or would just get out there and say, stop it. Thank you, Windows. I appreciate that. Anyways, they were under the impression, that if Trump just got out there and said, hey, everybody chill and go home, that they would listen. But why would that be if he had nothing to do with it? If that was just a spontaneous thing? Y'all see that lady that got shot at the Capitol riot? Yeah, the insurrectionist who broke through after being repeatedly told, being in a place she didn't belong and all that. Yeah. Unfortunately, that was the end result. It is not to be condoned. But that's what happened. She was repeatedly told not to do things that she did. She took actions that led to that unfortunate outcome. Laura Ingraham, a network host and hardline Trump ally, echoed the request. Quote, Mark, the president needs to tell people in the Capitol to go home. This is hurting all of us. He is destroying his legacy. I see. So this sounds like a, this sounds like Fox attempting to do, well, like the Fox, talking heads attempting to do damage control, because they know that they would somehow, or they're going to end up somehow trying to, explain this away, or they would have a lot harder times being super in favor of Trump. But, instead, they did what they had to do to try to spin this and downplay this as much as possible. It's ironic that his investigation is classed as political by Tucker Carlson, but 7 Benghazi probes that wasn't. Right.
Indeed, according to the records, multiple Fox News hosts knew the president needed to act immediately. They texted Mr. Meadows, and he has turned over those texts. Quote, Mark, the president needs to tell people in the Capitol to go home. This is hurting all of us. He is destroying his legacy, Laura Ingraham wrote. Please get him on TV. Destroying everything you have accomplished, Brian Kilmeade texted. Quote, can he make a statement? Ask people to leave the Capitol.
They are literally
Sean Hannity
begging.
Urged.
All these Fox News editorial talking heads were literally begging the chief of staff to convince the president to do something, anything. Just get out there, say a statement, they'll go home because they listen to you. In other words, doesn't this by definition or by logic, doesn't this mean that Trump has a massive or had a massive role to play? Didn't that mean by definition they admit that Trump has a much more share of the responsibility than was put forth? Like Trump lost and all the Trump supporters were shouting about the voting system is broken. It's been broken for years. Has it been? What do you mean by broken? Do you mean it's not as democratic as we'd like to think? Yeah, that's true. Gerrymandering, yeah, that's a great example. That is a great example. Electronic voting, we don't have electronic voting. Sometimes inaction is action. That is also true. What is that? The famous Batman quote, I don't have to kill you. I just don't have to save you. Pro tip. It's basically the same. Howdy. I'm French. Well, welcome. I thought some states use electronic voting. I am not aware. What do you think about Eric Zemmour? I have no idea who that is. Let me see here. Electronic. Voting USA. Yeah, I don't see that, like... I don't see that where you just, like, vote electronically. The most that you get is, like, the machines, like, the actual machines that have touchscreens. That's about it, but you still have to put a paper ballot through it to be counted. Yikes. He's a Holocaust denier? Jesus. Trump could murder someone in cold blood and Trump supporters would still back him? He said that and he was right. Yeah, that's still electronic voting? No, it isn't. You have a paper trail. Wait. No. They're scanners to read paper ballots. Just because the machine itself is electronic doesn't mean they're voting electronically. There's a paper trail that you feed the machine, and that is still maintained in case they have to do an audit. Well, in which case that's what happened in Georgia, where they did the initial count, and they did a machine recount, and then they took all the paper backups, because that's how you do it, and counted that for the third time. They fought a fruitless, useless litigation or lawsuit. That is still counted as electronic voting, I guess, but there's no problem with that if you have paper backups, right? That's the whole point of you having a ballot. There's, to my knowledge, there is no way of there being like a no paper trail in our voting systems. I guess states have different voting systems, but from what I understand, I don't know. Yeah, electronic counting, but they still have paper backups from what I understand. I consider electronic voting as not having a paper ballot. Right, like you don't just go to a machine and you type in the what you want without having any type of like paper trail, right? Like I don't understand. Yeah, I think that we should get all the information. Thinking Sabercat. Bro, why the tag indigenous? Bro, why not? Bro, why the cringy username? Even with the paper backups, it's still electronic voting. The votes are made electronic. I guess if you want to play semantics, sure. But then you would have to prove that there's a problem with that. You would have to prove that there's a problem with that. You would then have to prove why our electronic machines aren't capable of doing our electoral system. You'd have to prove that there's a problem to begin with in order for you to then say, this is my solution. Because it's real. Okay? Who is the burden of proof on? The person making the claim. The real Raging Crew, Clue, said that, there are, issues with electronic voting. So therefore, they have the burden of proof to, show me why that is. When in reality, despite there being electronic machines, there are paper trails. Well, someone says it's safe, aren't they the ones making the claim? Wrong. They made the claim that it's not. I think we need to keep these things as paper-centric as possible. These voting machines are a vulnerability. By themselves, yes, which is why we have paper backups. Malkiada. Absolutely. So, like, in other words, just because you use a machine doesn't make it electronic, but, like, I don't know. Who's to say the voting machine doesn't start spitting out incorrect paper backups? Wait, okay. So have you voted? Have you ever voted? The real raging clue? So then why are you making these claims? I voted using just a screen before, then it printed something out, but I wasn't able to see what the thing it printed out, but in recent years it was paper that was scanned in. I think that's better. Yeah. Usually, from what I understand, in the majority of areas, it is like that. I mean, that's kind of across the board, considering the fact that there's only 2 companies, to my knowledge, who have, like, basically a duopoly on these voting machines. Right? Like, I don't get it. You're gonna have to prove to me that there is a serious problem with our voting system in order for me to change my mind. That's all I'm saying. Just to clarify, I don't believe there's a big conspiracy of voting machines being hacked. I understand, but if you think that there's a problem, a vulnerability, then you gotta kind of present that, right? And if you don't know, or if you're not sure, then the way I voted was cool. You vote, they print it out behind the glass. You choose to send it or not in case there's something incorrect. There you go. Boom. Easy. I can assure you there's pretty much every single election specialist working in the US that said that there's no issues whatsoever with our voting system. This problem's always cited as access, availability, procedure, and partisan invention to deter turnout. Right. I'm concerned about the maintenance of these machines. The people who handle them are not trained, and the average person cannot understand what is or isn't being done to maintain it. If they can't understand it, they cannot trust it. Well, that is, sure. But, like, unless you have, like, a specific, like, legitimate reason to have concerns, you feel free to present the evidence for that. That's all I'm saying. But to our knowledge, for decades and for the past, elections as far as I can remember, the problems have never been necessarily with our voting systems. That's all. Tom Scott made a good video explaining why electronic voting is bad. A pure electronic system with no way, like, it's purely electronic, then yeah, I could have questions on that. Washington State is paper ballot with all the mail-in voting. Just join us like Oregon, Colorado, and others. True. That's great. I mean, you could argue the voting method is bad. What are you talking about? I vote for X. Only being able to pick one candidate. No, then your problem isn't with the voting system. Your problem then is with the political apparatus that we use, right? Like, maybe we should have a more democratic system where there's multiple candidates, multiple parties. Sure. That's different. That's separate from the question about, of whether or not our actual, like, the way we have a ballot, put our selection, turning it in and counting it, and then reporting said results. There's nothing wrong with that so far. To me, a non-expert, it seems like we need to be worried about 2 things. Can the accurate count be made? And 2, can people trust that number happened? Exactly. I think electronic voting can make number 2 harder. Yeah. Letitia James is on The View about ABC still following Trump investigations. Who's the best socialist candidate to fill Bernie's shoes? I think he's too old to run again. I don't think he's gonna run again. I don't know. Some countries vote by ordering which candidate they like the most. Yeah, you're talking about ranked choice voting, right? So that's not a problem with our voting machines or voting systems. It's a problem with how we have our political apparatus organized. What you're saying is you want ranked choice voting. What you're saying is you want a more democratic system. Okay, you've got no fight from me on that one. If you want to expand our choices and our ability to vote for different parties and have a more representative government, then yeah, you're not gonna get a fight from me if that's what you're arguing for. Your real problem is gerrymandering, among other things. Gerrymandering is pretty bad and pretty pernicious. I think the best candidate is someone we don't know yet, a celebrity politician. Yeah, we need more celebrity politicians. That's right. That's what we need. Colorado does mail-in for all elections. I got so spoiled living there. Imagine a world where you have just access to voting by mail without any problems. Imagine. Hey, no, stop it. Off. I mean, the current voting system in general could use improvement. I guess, but like, you'd have to show me what the problems are. Like, you'd have to show me what the problems are to be able to tell you what I would say to solve those problems. In PA, all you can do is support John Fetterman, who's not... John Fetterman is pretty good. I think he's very good on workers' rights, if I'm correct. We don't want a Dr. Oz in Congress. Can you imagine? Please, just, dear God, no more celebrities. Like, for politicians, please. Imagine if Kanye became president. Imagine I don't want to imagine. Are far more susceptible to autocratic hijacking than two-party ones. If there's ever a nation where an autocratic hijack could happen, it's America. You think so? Man, I guess like I was saying earlier, everything has pros and cons, but wouldn't like you have a more democratic system that could kind of check that, James, or am I getting this wrong? Wouldn't the ability to have more choice and more spread out like parties and stuff like that, wouldn't that mean you can create more checks and balances to kind of keep those autocratic tendencies in check, right? That being said, I don't dispute the fact that it could happen. I am still here. Yes, sir. I am still here. We will be here until I am done. Until I'm done going through all of these news articles. I'm in no rush. I don't have work today or tomorrow, so we've got a extended edition for the stream today. How can make simple concept of no celebrities and no dynasties catch up on universally? True. I definitely think so. The problem is America's very identity-based society, and there's also one that is very unequal and holds a lot of anti-system sentiment. So basically, it's a very good landscape for an autocratic populace to use the will of the people against democracy itself. Yeah, I mean, I could see that being a scenario. Yeah, maybe I'm the one that's wrong. I mean, like, when you hear rhetoric coming from the folks like Josh Hawley, that comes to mind. The rhetoric being used by people like Josh Hawley is what comes to mind for me. Yeah, maybe you're right, James Snapper. Oof, that would be horrifying. That would be horrifying. Yikes. I had to do 2 hours of driving just to vote. Being in rural areas trying to vote sucks. True. That's why we should have abilities for to get vote by mail. In Oregon, the standard way of voting is by mail. Yeah, that's excellent, Eco Resto Dragon. Not sure if I said hi to you, but how's it going? Voting by mail is vuvuzela. True. Brian Kilmeade, host of Fox and Friends, texted, "Please get him on TV, destroying everything you have accomplished." The host, clearly dismayed, gave all the same impression. Trump had the power to stop the riot, but did not use it. Well, in their minds, they perceived Trump having the ability to get out there and say, "Hey, everybody, go home, cool it, stop, go home," which then implies that they think, at least in their minds, that Trump is definitely at the helm of this, which certainly gives a credence that, well, he may have a lot more responsibility and a lot more of a role than these folks are trying to argue. What would be more important for accessibility, voting day or as a holiday, or longer voting periods? ¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both? But as the three went on air that night, their focus was on shifting blame away from Trump and his supporters. All three condemned the violence used by the rioters, but played up baseless theories that the damage was done mainly at the fault of left-wing groups. Ah, yes, the Antifas, and of course the unbelievable documentary that Tucker Carlson made to create this narrative is just unfathomable to me. Ingram user January 6 showed to argue that rioters didn't look like Trump supporters. Meanwhile, during that time, she was saying, "Please tell them to go home." This is why you, like, seriously, this kind of really gives you the peek behind the curtains, right? What they actually think, what they're actually believing, and what they actually then feed to their viewers, right? And what they actually feed to their viewers, which is wild to me. Quote, "I have never seen a Trump rally attending wearing helmets, black helmets, brown helmets, black backpacks, the uniform that you saw in some of these crowd shots," she said. "Have you ever seen them wearing those knee pads and the, pads on their elbows? I mean, I've been to a lot of these rallies. I know you've both covered them. I've never seen that before, ever." Kilmeade said in an interview on Fox News that evening, expressed skepticism that Trump supporters were behind the violence. "I don't know Trump supporters that have ever demonstrated violence that I know of in a big situation." Right. Meanwhile, there are texts saying, "Please stop this." Okay. Sure. And Hannity on his show that night pushed the conspiracy theory that Antifa, the loose anti-fascist movement, has infiltrated the protests. On TV, he suggested that bad actors may have behind the chaos. Huh. I wonder, did Trump know the riot was happening? I heard it started during the speech, but I thought it was after. He absolutely knew. He absolutely knew. He must have been advised that this was happening because, like, this is a security issue. So, yeah, there's no way he didn't know that this was happening when he finished his speech, I assume, or when he got back. I just don't see a scenario where he didn't know. It would be very weird to me if he genuinely didn't know. It would be a very weird scenario to imagine. It would be very weird to imagine a scenario where he didn't know. And I would also say, like, that's really strange. So you're willing to you released a video saying to go home? Oh yeah, wait, majorly based. Wait, that's true. Oh, wait, Heat. Hold on. Heat. Wait. Okay. Hold on. I may have to do this again. Okay. Maybe. That was kind of okay. That's the best that I could come up with on the spot. But I may owe you another Yuki redemption because of that. Music break. Yeah. Okay, close enough. Ooh, I didn't want to forget before I moved on. Sorry about that. TLDR, subscribe. Now that's talent. Oh, I don't know about that. Majorly based. I do appreciate it. But I'm gonna have to cheat the next time and have my chords up ready. Because I am not a primary Yuki player, but I'm using the redemption for ukulele riffs to try to get me to play more. How could he have intervened? They would have prioritized his safety, made sure he wasn't in a secure relation, that the police and security handle his situation. How could he have intervened? Well, by, thanks, see ya. Thank you for hanging out. He'd appreciate it, thank you. Yeah, but I think that there was, questions about authority on the National Guard and things like that. I think he had the authority to do so. I think also he had the ability, to just, not, first of all, not hold these type of rallies in the first place by continuously destroying any trust in the system without evidence based on one fantastical conspiracy theory. He could have maybe just not done that. But as it happened, he could have intervened by sending in the National Guard and by getting out there repeatedly. Because I believe he only did one thing. By saying, "Hey, go home." Live. Anyways, what I was going to point out is it's very interesting how they're willing to give some leeway over here. They acknowledge the fact that there's a possibility, obviously this one is without evidence, but there is a possibility that sometimes bad actors do get and infiltrate large crowds. Huh. I wonder if they gave the same credence to the protests in 2020. I wonder if they'll give the same levity, the same he was watching it all unfold and he liked what he was saying. I wouldn't doubt it. If I had to take a bet, I wouldn't doubt it. I wonder if they gave the same credence to the protest, to the BLM protest. There was one dude, John Sullivan, who was interviewed by CNN. The whole crowd were actors, every single person. No. Yeah, that would be fantastic, right? Leeway, that's the word I was looking for. A Fox News spokesperson did not immediately reply to insiders' request for comments. Yeah, that's gonna be a, that's a PR nightmare, right? The entire, talking head editorial / commentary / opinion side of Fox News is, really taking an L across the board on this one, right? It also goes to show, the audacity of people like Sean Hannity, Ingram, their irresponsibility, plays a part in this. Just saying. Their irresponsibility plays a part. Alright, folks, very important, to articles that we need to go through. Factory workers threatened with firing if they left before the tornado. A catastrophic tornado approached the city on Friday. Employees of a candle factory, which later then be destroyed, heard this warning sirens and wanted to leave the building. But at least 5 coworkers said supervisors warned the employees that they would be fired if they left their shifts early. For hours, as word of the coming storm spread, as many as 15 workers beseeched the managers to let them take shelter in their own homes, only to have their requests rebuffed. Fearing for their safety, some left during their shifts regardless of repercussions. At least 8 people died in the Mayfield consumer product factory, which makes scented candles. The facility was leveled, and all that is left is rubble. Photos and videos of its widespread mangled remains have become symbols of the enormous destructive power of Friday's tornado system. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said that on Monday, 74 people were confirmed dead in the state. Michaela Emery, 21, said in an interview from her hospital bed that workers first asked to leave shortly after the tornado siren sounded outside the factory around 5:30 p.m. Employees congregated into bathrooms inside hallways, but the real tornado wouldn't arrive for several more hours. After employees decided that the immediate danger had passed, several began asking to go home. Like, that's just unbelievable to me. They had several hours. Several hours. People had questioned if they could leave or go home, said Emery, who preferred to stay at work and make extra money. Overtime pay was available, but it wasn't clear whether those who stayed were offered additional pay. Supervisors and team leaders told employees that leaving would probably jeopardize their job. Like, that's coercive. That's coercion right there. Did you hear that Amazon didn't leave their workers? Oh yeah, we're getting to that one too. Don't worry. We've got this one here. It is insane. It's just beyond me that this was even a scenario. If you leave, you're more than likely to be fired. What kind of thinly veiled threat is that? Emery said that she overheard managers tell 4 workers standing near her who wanted to leave. I heard that with my own ears. About 15 people asked to go home during the night shift shortly after the emergency alarm sounded outside the facility. I mean, like, if there is such a catastrophic weather event that could level your warehouse, factory, facility, whatever it is, then it's kind of irrelevant, right? The moment you have these catastrophic weather alerts, the only thing that should happen is the employee safety first. The only thing that is to be taken into consideration is the employee safety, right? Because, like, if a tornado happened to come, which it did, it would level the whole place anyways. Why are people there? Why are you still coercing them to continue to work? It is effed up. Those managers should never ever be allowed to hold supervisory positions ever. Yeah, and one could say there may be civil repercussions. As someone who grew up in the Midwest, I would have left at the first siren. Yeah, like, at the moment you have some type of warning saying that there's inclement weather incoming, and said inclement weather is destructive enough to level your place anyways, why are they still working? It's all about the money. Yeah, exactly. It's all about the money. But, like, that's why I'm saying, like, it doesn't even make sense. Because, like, yes, of course it's about trying to keep operations going and try to, squeeze whatever pennies you can. But, like, all of that is irrelevant if your place is going to be razed to the ground anyways. Yeah, I would argue that it is manslaughter. I mean, you purposely put your employees in this position. Yeah, I don't know if they're guilty, but there should be a trial. Yeah, I suspect that there's going to be a big civil case here. I have no idea, majorly based, but we don't exactly have the best labor protections. the place where a said profit was created is gone, and now they should have to pay lawsuits and serve jail time. Yeah, I suspect that in a just world, that would be what happens. Initially, Condor said team leaders told her they wouldn't let workers leave because of safety precautions, so they kept everyone in the hallway and bathrooms. Once they mistakenly thought the tornado was no longer a danger, they sent everybody to work. Right, but like, again, how do you know that? I mean, if you're gonna force these folks to be here in dangerous situations, you've got to guarantee their safety. And if you can't, if you know that at any point a tornado could just wipe out the entire factory and you have no way to secure their safety, guarantees their safety, then you can't keep them there. Period. Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that definitely comes to mind. Yikes. It's just unbelievable to me how they allowed these workers to stay there. It's just unconscionable. After that part, I would have left. There could be more than one, all at the same time when it comes to tornadoes. That's true. And what safety standards will come out of this? None, probably. Probably none. I don't know. We'll see. Anyone who wanted to leave should have been allowed to. True. Elisha Johnson, 20, was working in the back of the building when several employees wanted to head home. Wanting to head home, walked in to speak with the supervisors. He joined in on the request. I asked to leave, but they told me I'd be fired. Even with weather like this, you're still gonna fire me? Yes. Oh my god. Johnson said the managers went so far as to take a roll call in hopes of finding out who had left work. Company officials denied the allegations. Yeah. Okie dokie, buddy. Sure. Sure. It's absolutely untrue. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, but like, I have a very, hard time trusting the words of a company. Texas hasn't updated their power grid yet. How long before another freeze kills more people? As long as it's in private, as long as it's privatized, I suspect that not much action is going to be done. Better to be fired than dead, fired from a job that won't exist the next day. Yeah, like, yeah, that's such a good point. Like, if you know that there's like such inclement weather, it's gonna destroy your place anyway, like your workplace anyways. Like, what are you gonna do? I mean, if it gets destroyed, what are you gonna come back to the next day? There's not gonna be a job there. Better to be alive in that situation. 100,000% Kal-El. It's absolutely untrue. We've had a policy in place since COVID began. Employees can leave at any time they want to leave and they can come back the next day. Yeah. Okay. Last, I saw that Texas did build emergency generators, but haven't supplied them with any fuel. So, they pretended to do something? The thing is, they knew severe weather was coming that day. Amazon lied about firing people. Legally, they cannot fire someone over safety concerns. True. I would have been like, well, my life is more important. Bye. True. He also denied that managers told employees that leaving their shifts meant risking their jobs. Ferguson said managers and team leaders undergo a series of emergency drills and follow guidelines of FEMA and OSHA. Well, clearly they weren't, because people are dead. A 24-hour hotline is available as of Monday for employees to call about hazard pay, grief counseling, and other assistance. Autumn Kirks, a team lead at the factory who was working that night, denied Monday afternoon on MSNBC that people's jobs are threatened if they don't go in. Yeah, like this is a lot of covering our covering our ass kind of deal. There was only like 7 Amazon employees. The rest are contractors that they could just say, we don't need you anymore ever again, and just end that contract. That's messed up. I know that other workplaces and schools try to force people to shelter in place, but they really should not force people to stay. 100,000%. Like, Kyle was arguing earlier, like, if there's a possibility for, like, your job not even existing, what's the impetus of letting people, or, like, coercing people to stay? None whatsoever. I mean, like, you get, like, a couple of hours extra in, and then what? Tomorrow your workplace is done. I hope that all families affected by this sue Amazon, on top of that, OSHA needs to get on